Hi everyone, welcome to Soulprint. My name is Cindy. Thank you very, very much for being here. So today I want to take a look at 2, 4, 6, 8 of Trump's, secretaries of this, secretary of that. Um, and literally just ask Spirit to give me like a 2 or 3 word statement about them, where they're going, what the trajectory is. And I'm hoping to be able to blast through these fairly quickly. So before I get started, thank you very much for being here. I really do appreciate the ongoing support. To my new subscribers, welcome. To the donors, oh my God, thank you so much. I think I say this every time, but it truly blows me away. Your generosity, your consistency, and just the lovely messages of support that come with it. So thank you very, very much. All right, here we go. You can tell from the title, Puppets in Power, that that's what they are. It kind of goes without saying, but let's get started, shall we? Okay, we're going to start with Bondi Spirit. I want comments, ideas, trajectories on the following cabinet members. Pam Bondi, she is the United States Attorney General. She is okay. She first of all, she's on thin ice. Okay, everything she does, she blows up. Um, Trump is starting to, even though she's pretty and blonde, he's getting annoyed with her because he feels like she isn't doing enough for him to win in court. She's on a slippery slope, right? So is she still going to be around like in January or February? It's about 40, 60. So it's looking like there's 60% that she could be gone. But don't get excited because God only knows what might replace her. Mm. Hegseth. Department of Defense. I think they like to refer to themselves as Department of War or something just equally asinine. Hegseth. Um, they're, they're showing me him drowning, right? Drowning in water. He doesn't know what he's doing. And he is hyper focused on the image and the look. I mean, that's something, of course, that 45 can completely relate to. But he doesn't know what it's like he can't read the room. Um, he doesn't take in any information. He's a little vacant up there for entertainment purposes only. And that big meeting that he called with all the generals, um, all he did was confirm to them that he really is multiple crayons, short of a full box. And so between the generals, they're kind of like, God, um, we need to be mindful of how we react or don't react to what he's saying and what he's doing, because Hegseth has absolutely zero interest or regard for following the law. Now, that honestly can be said for every single one of these people that we're going to look at. But like, I think what they mean by that more than the law is he doesn't understand. Um, he doesn't understand. It's not the chain of command, but he doesn't understand. Um, Thank you. When he's like overstepping, right? When he's trying to tell um, generals, etc., to do something that is just blatantly illegal. He doesn't understand why that's a problem. Rubio, Secretary of State. Rubio understands that he has completely lost his reputation and any integrity that he had at some point. Incredibly desperate to stay in the Trump orbit. And at this point, will continue to parrot his message, 45's message. Lutnick, Secretary of Commerce. This is that guy that gets up on television and tells everybody how the economy is amazing and prices are coming down. And if you say, well, they're not, he says you're cherry picking. I don't know what this guy's credentials are or his history, but he is, in some ways, he's a really good one. Tip to work with 45, because they both have these blinders on and they only want to see what they want to see, and they do not want any information coming to them that does not agree with what they see or what they choose to see or want to see. Okay, so if 45 is still in office, Lutnick is very likely to be replaced by sorry, my head went blank. By the spring equinox. Okay, so I'm not sure when that is. March sometimes. But okay. RFK Jr. Health dangerous. They're just saying he's dangerous. He is not. He's not firing on all cylinders. Some of those cylinders have been damaged, and he has his own internal agenda and his own belief structure that is completely based on conspiracy theories and misinformation. He hasn't been right for a long time. More importantly, he has no it's not moral, it's integrity. If you remember during the election, it was I'll sell myself to either Trump or um oh my god, what the hell's her name? Oh shit. I know you're all screaming it at me, and I can see her pretty face. Kamala Harris. He basically said, "I'll whoever gives me what I want, whoever offers me a position that I want, I'll just tell my voters to vote for them." So no integrity at all. He's very power hungry. He's very anxious to sort of live up to what he sees as the Kennedy legacy and the Kennedy name. And he is not understanding that in some ways he is single-handedly just destroying what was left of it. Kristi Noem, Homeland Security. She is actually, for entertainment purposes only, of all of them, she is the one who is at most risk, because she knows not what she does and she doesn't care. She is like that person who this is what they're showing me. And yes, I tell you, sometimes the pictures they send me are just remarkable. So they're showing me like a window, like plate of glass. and the glass needs a hole cut in it. And so they're showing me, whatever it is, where you put something in the center and then you circle around and it cuts the glass in a very nice, neat circle so that the rest of the glass is not destroyed, but that space that is required where the circle has been created is available. Or somebody who hits it over, hits the whole thing with a hammer. That's what she does. She just hits everything with a hammer. And she is slowly but surely um, putting herself in a position where more and more she honestly she's being viewed like a Barbie in in camouflage. Um, her her bias and her prejudice is what motivates her and continues to sort of force her in a forward trajectory. Okay. Now the last one I gotta say concerns me a lot, and I think part of the reason it concerns me because we haven't heard a lot about her. Tulsi Gabbard. Now let's think about this. She is the director of national intelligence. Is her job to gather all of the intel, and apparently there's like 18 intel agencies. Her job is to gather all of this information and oversee it and monitor it. Okay, the reason we haven't heard a lot about her is because she's being very quiet. What she is doing is cloaked in sort of a shroud of mystery. Um, for anybody who watched Potter, that cloak of invisibility. It's like that. It's like she has, and she's being protected, and she's being protected by very powerful people in high places. So, of all of them, she is probably one of the, I want to say, primary assets that the wannabe king of Russia has. And she's finding herself in a little bit of an interesting place because his power, the wannabe czar, right? His power is diminishing. He's losing control. Russia's in a terrible state, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so she continues to very quietly do her job, but she's now in as I said, a funny position because she has two masters, right? She has the wannabe czar and the wannabe king, and both of them are losing power and authority. And in some ways, it's like she doesn't know who she's supposed to listen to first, particularly because now it does appear that both those two entities are a little bit of loggerheads with each other. Um, and okay, what I'm hearing, allegedly and for entertainment purposes only, is when it is all said and done, she is going to end up We're going to hear a whole lot about her and a whole lot of what she did, what she sold, what she gave away, what she did not hold secret. And the reality is that she has no, okay, and this is, thank you, this is true of everybody. These people have no business being in the positions that they're in. None of them are qualified. Except for this. Every single one of them has proven to be an absolute sycophant to 45. Every one of them has proven that they are a puppet who will mirror and amplify the message that the White House wants put out there. And every one of them has become an unbelievable, and this isn't new, okay? I think that this is accurate for all of them. But they have truly honed their lying skills. They've taken it to a new level, all right? And more you're going to see people who continue to lose what little credibility they have, and who are ultimately going to be exposed sort of for the frauds that they are. Now, unless I am wrong, and it could be, but it seems to me that Vance, I don't know, is he part of that cabinet? But, like, let's say, for example, they wanted to go with the 25th Amendment, which is the, removal because not shouldn't be in office. It seems to me that he would be involved in that. He would be working with those secretaries of whatever, and making those decisions, gathering those votes, et cetera, et cetera. So let's just take a quick peek at JD. I'm so glad that my spirit guides and the ones I communicate with when I do these readings have such a cute sense of humor, because it really does, keep me entertained. They're literally showing me him juggling very, very, very hot potatoes. And so every time he grabs one, it burns him. He throws it up in the air, and the next one comes along and it burns him. And so everything he touches is actually becoming toxic and dangerous for him. Make no mistake, okay. What they're saying is, as Trump's popularity continues to diminish, and even people within, like, the Heritage Fund, for example, start to recognize that 45 has become more of a hindrance and a help. There's going to be pressure applied to sort of help escort him through the White House doors. And because Vance would then be able to step into that place. And, because he sort of presents himself just sort of kind of as laid back, like a little slimy and whatever, but, he's pretty easygoing. Make no mistake, this is a ruthless, success, power driven individual. And If and when it comes time to cut a cord, to detach somebody from where they are, he'll do it. Um, he sees like the two of them don't get along, okay, and so he sees himself as a much better um version, if you will. He thinks that he would be far better able to facilitate and accomplish the goals of the Peter Thiel's Heritage Foundation, etc., those ultra conservative ideas. But these potatoes that he's juggling, some of them are political, some of them are in terms of success, but some of them are personal. And he's just has a lot that he's trying to process and deal with right now, and it's not going well in any direction. While some of these people are puppets of the wannabe czar, some of them are puppets of the wannabe king. JD is a puppet for a small segment of people who are extraordinarily wealthy and have unbelievably rigid and draconian ideas and viewpoints. And in some ways, that's what makes him so dangerous. Okay. Can I get a final message, Spirit? This is what Spirit wants you to know and understand. There's a time coming in the United States of a great awakening where people who have been sleeping or dozing are going to start waking up. And you can see that process already starting. Trump is finally underwater with MAGA voters, not MAGA voters, or now he's underwater with them vote-wise because he's pissing them off and he's hurting them. What he's doing is directly hurting them. Um, there's a coming time of sort of this great awakening. And the reality is this, and this has been said multiple times. It is like the United States is approaching a fork in the road. And either they are going to take one fork and end up at a higher intention, or the other fork and end up at a lower intention. And that choice will establish the future of the United States for centuries. Because if the lower intention is embraced, the damage is going to be so far reaching that it will simply not be fixed by putting in a Democratic president or the Dems having the House and the Senate. It's going to take a huge amount of time to try to correct the damage that has been done. And that is why so many souls, including most of you, are on the earth right now, because you are here to energize, facilitate, expand the energy of the higher intention choice. And It's incredibly, incredibly important that you hold that truth firm, because they're saying in the next weeks, be they 4, 6, 8, even 12, there are going to be times when you are all but going to just throw your hands up in the air and say, I surrender. It's too crazy. I can't even see how we could fix this. And that's the thing that they want you to make sure you avoid, which is part of the reason they keep nagging about taking care of yourself and putting your own energies first, because those energies are going to continually be called on to continue to support the intention of the higher, greater good. Because ultimately, that is going to be what ends up breaking the lower vibrational hold. It's not guaranteed. You're here for a reason. And they want you to remember that, because you're going to need to hold very firm, not only to the internal light that you carry with you, but very firm in terms of your continually sending it out. And the final thing they want you to know is that it would be tremendously helpful if once or twice a day you literally sat quietly for 15 seconds and just visualized the US in your head and see it being completely enveloped in brilliant white light, knowing that that white light is going to heal, it's going to raise the vibration, and it's going to start to penetrate people who are finally fed up enough and who have been damaged and hurt enough to see, with clarity what they voted in and what they supported. And so literally hold that light 15 seconds once or twice a day. And while you may not be able to see the immediate impact of that, you will. You absolutely will see the impact of that. And that energy will then attract more and more light workers to focus on enveloping a place, an area, a space, and its people in powerful, powerful light. Okay. Joyce tells me that she is compiling the questions for this week, so thank you very much, Joyce. For everybody else, please put your comments in the section, in the comment section below, and she will scoop them all up. And I will look forward to seeing each and every one of you on Friday for Pendulum Friday. Thank you very, very much for being here. Bye for now. Be well.